Whitney. Who's that girl? It's Whitney Reynolds. Oh, she's got a show. Catch it on the weekends. Every single Saturday, right at noon. On Chicago's NBC 5.2.
Hello and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. I'm your host, Whitney Reynolds. Today we're talking all about spring cleaning. It's that time of year again, folks. I'm sure most of you are thinking of that room or the closet that needs to get cleaned out, but we're going to talk so much more about that. The mind, body, soul. Dr. Rosemary Cairo, a psychotherapist, is here today to help us talk about that baggage that we might be storing up in our little noggins that we need to clean out and clear out for the spring. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Whitney. Thanks so much for having me today.
Yeah, what's really crazy about this is when I think about spring cleaning, I'm doing what most people are doing, like, oh, I have that closet, I have a lot of stuff that I need to get rid of, and we are going to talk all about that. Yeah. But emotions are sometimes stored, and we need to clean those out too.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. You know, this is March already, and I think so many people have their New Year's resolutions, and it's already March, and they're already relapsing on them.
Right. That's
and it's like, why do we keep doing things over and over again, and nothing changes? You know, we keep repeating ourselves. We keep dating the same type of person. We're on a treadmill, and we're never going forward. And clients come to see me, and they're like, help me, I'm depressed. I don't know how to go forward. And that's the trigger for me to say, let's go into the emotional baggage.
So you do. So the emotional baggage is stuff that we could be carrying around. Even, would it go back to childhood?
Absolutely.
Eesh, yeah, that's a lot of stuff. As we age, we're taking almost every year with us. And there's some like little things that we just need to clean out, clear out. I love what you said about dating. Because some of us date the same type of people. And we know all of our girlfriends are saying, don't date that person.
Right.
Why are we doing that?
Well, so often we haven't put closure on betrayal. We haven't put closure on a past relationship where somebody, you thought this was the person, your soulmate, the one you were going to spend the rest of your life with, and something happened and it didn't work out. And so you store up all of those feelings, and all the expectations that you had to be with this person is stored in that emotional bag that you're keeping inside of you.
That's an interesting thought. And so what are some steps that you would tell people if they feel like, not just dating, but if they feel like they're storing some past hurt, some past pain, what are some ways that they can kick that bag to the curb?
Well, you know, there is no fairy dust.
Okay,
all right?
That's
There's
real.
no magic potion. So everything that deals with our emotional body takes time and effort. So the first thing that I want you to realize is we have probably 50 to 70,000 thoughts that run through our mind every day.
I believe that. Some nights, more than thousands are running in my little sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what we need to do is remember that some of these are subconscious thoughts, so we're not really cognizant of the fact that we're thinking them. But very often, these very negative memories that we have contained, they're allowing us to make decisions in our life that are not the good decisions for us.
Right. You know, what's really interesting for me is when I hear or I'm reminded how short life is, and sometimes it's a death that reminds me, but that's when I really think about, oh my goodness, I am wasting time over small things. Or my way of thinking is so skewed on the way it should be, because life is short and we should embrace it and we should live each day to the fullest, but so many of us don't, because we get caught up on the day-to-day things or the things of the past that are staying with us.
And we have the best of intentions. We start out the year saying we're not going to do that.
That's right. I was going to travel more this year, and all I've made it to is Wisconsin Dells.
But you can have a lot of good things happen to you in Wisconsin Dells.
Right,
That's not so bad. It depends on who you're with.
Right, exactly. That's true.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk more about these steps. So you're recommending people to embrace what, like, look into the past and embrace what really is going on.
Okay, so that sounds really easy. It's not as easy. Because I like to think about it like emotional baggage. I think of like Mary Poppins' magic bag, you know, that embroidered carpet bag, and I have my clients visualize that in their head. So what I want them to do is take the time to open up the bag and look inside. What feelings are in there that really don't empower you? They're not productive to who you are and where you want to go.
Right, that's
good. So you need to look inside. That is not always an easy thing to do.
It's not. And how do you really look inside at yourself? Do you poll your friends like, hey, I'm trying to get an emotional check here on what's going on? Because usually it's the outside world that's really seeing you for what's, I know it sometimes takes a good friend of mine to say, Whit, come on now, what's going on? And I might think I'm just fine, even though I know something might be a little off, but usually my friends or my family, usually my mother is the first to be like, what's going on?
Yeah, moms pretty much know, but very often we don't listen to our moms as well as we should.
No,
right?
we don't, yeah. So should we poll our friends, or should we really just look at our own life and just soak it in ourselves?
You know, you're the only one that has your memories and your phenomenology, your history, your experiences, and the way you saw it through the eyes of a child and the eyes of an adolescent and the eyes of a preteen, a young adult. So I would say you get a notebook and you start writing down, I call them the toxic top 10.
Ooh, the toxic top 10. Say that 10 times.
No.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to think of 10 things that you could find in that bag that don't serve you. You know, the little negative chatter that you're hearing that are cluttering.
Wow.
You know, your emotional body and not letting the good things stay.
Right.
Because there's so much of the negative.
So writing down the toxic, we got to wrap this segment up. So let's.
Yes.
So
the
after
next
they
thing
write
you
it down,
do is you want to be able to connect it to a story. Who is the person that started this? Who's the person that told me I would never be good enough to be having my own TV show? Who's the person that told me that I couldn't have the guy?
Okay.
You want to find the silver lining in that. You want to be able to say, okay, what did I learn in that lesson?
Right.
What did I learn about me in that lesson? What is a good piece of that?
I love that, yeah.
And then you need to start rewriting your story. And you need to fill the bag now up with the positive things.
Oh, I
So
love
now
it.
you start with 10 positive things about you that you love about yourself.
So we get rid of the toxic ones.
Yes.
We connect it to where it started from.
Yes.
And then we start
Rewriting your narrative, rewriting your story.
I love it.
And then, just to finish it off, a vision board, a gratitude attitude journal.
Where can people find out more about you?
Rosemary.com, rosemarycairo.com.
RosemaryCairo.com. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, I feel like all of our viewers are taking notes down. I can't wait to hear all about the chapters in all of our viewers' lives, the new ones that they're writing.
And I can't wait to see the rest of the show so I could learn how to do all my decluttering for spring.
That is right. Thank you so much. Guys, coming up next, we are going to talk all about spring cleaning, and we're going to even talk about ways to have glowing skin as we go into this new season. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by Weekends with Whitney's parking provider, Millennium Garages. For the most convenient and affordable parking right in the heart of Chicago, visit www.millenniumgarages.com for a list of special events and parking offers, and to find the Millennium Garage location closest to your destination. Park here and go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back. Today we've been talking about spring cleaning. We just heard from Dr. Rosemary Cairo about ways to get rid of that emotional clutter and baggage. You know, I never thought of that whenever it comes to spring cleaning, about all the emotions that we store over the winter. Well, another way to look at spring cleaning is on your face and skin, getting rid of all that grumpy winter look. Who else can help us but Lainey Broder? Now, you are going to tell us ways that we can get that skin looking great as we go into the spring and summer.
I absolutely can. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm excited you're here because, you know, like, that's one aspect when it comes to spring cleaning. Most of us think about ways to clean out the home, clean up the yard, and we are going to talk about those two things here in a minute.
But not about yourself.
Yeah, and ways to really focus on yourself and get yourself ready for this next season.
Right.
When I think of spring and summer, I immediately think about that sunscreen that we need.
That sunscreen is so important.
Yeah.
And winter wreaks havoc on our skin.
Ooh.
It really does. I mean,
It
you feel
does.
dry. You feel.
I am dry in the winter.
I know. I just want to jump into a pool of like moisturizer.
I do. I want to jump into the pool moisturizer and go to Florida.
Yes.
I want to do both.
Absolutely.
Maybe the pool of moisturizers in Florida.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I really think that my first recommendation is good skincare. It's so important to take that skincare home because that's where you're at most of the time.
Absolutely.
You brush your teeth every day.
Absolutely.
So why not add that sunscreen, or why not add that moisturizer or that exfoliator that's going to exfoliate that dead skin off?
Now, first of all, tell us a little bit about where you come from.
Okay. I work for Dr. Michael Epstein. He's
Okay.
in Northbrook, and he has a full medical spa. We have 2 medical estheticians, who I call them skin doctors. They're not actually doctors, but they can really look at your skin and tell you exactly what you need.
I love that.
And we have 3 nurse injectors who do injections and also do laser treatments.
Well, your skin looks great, and you're coming
Thank
off
you.
a winter.
I
So
am.
tell us a little bit about what you have done personally, or what people like your patients come in and do. I know for me, I get so dry, and I'm not even blowing this nose, and it still gets dry.
I know, as I do too. So what we would do is the medical esthetician would see you. She would actually look at your skin and see exactly what you're looking to achieve. We do skincare treatments, which exfoliate, and that's the number one. You really want to exfoliate to keep that supple skin and to give you that glow. We have a couple different treatments that we do, one being dermaplaning.
I've never heard of that.
No,
what is dermaplaning?
it's only a medical office could offer that, and it's a blade that exfoliates your skin.
Ooh.
Not only does it exfoliate.
Does it hurt?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
It is such a great
When
treatment.
I hear blade coming towards my face, I think
you
pain.
feel like it's going to hurt, and it really doesn't. It exfoliates the dead skin as well as the peach fuzz.
Oh, wow.
And something interesting to think about is, what do men do on a daily basis?
They shave.
They shave.
Well, we
And
hope our
they
men
age,
shave.
right, so they age gracefully. So if you think about it, we just need to, that's exactly what this dermaplaning is doing.
But we're not telling women to shave their
No,
face.
we're not, but
We're telling them to go seek some medical help. Yeah.
But actually, if my estheticians don't have time to do it, I'll just do it in the shower.
Wow.
It's not going to get thicker, your hair's not going to get darker, it's not going to be any more coarse.
Wow, and your skin looks absolutely
Thank
great.
you.
So some questions that I have personally. I have freckles, and a lot of
Okay.
people was like, you must have been a sun child. And I really was born, I did not come out with freckles, but literally in my first couple of years developed these freckles.
Right.
And I never want to hide them. I love them. My mom said hers disappeared in her 20s. Mine are still around.
Okay.
So I really embrace them. But is there anything I could do if I wanted to get rid of them? I know some of my people that have freckles want to get rid of them. I love mine. I know my mom's sitting at home like, she loves hers.
Yeah.
And I love mine, but is there a way to get rid of freckles?
Absolutely. What we have at our spa called the Transcend Photo Facial is exactly what you're talking about, getting rid of photo damage from the sun,
Okay.
red vessels, an overall redness. So it just is an overall, it just helps your skin to look as great as it can.
And then what about Botox for someone in their 20s? What is the perfect age to start Botox?
There really is no perfect age, but if you think about Botox, it's preventative.
Okay.
So once you start, your frown lines, your crow's feet, they're not going to get any worse. So you can technically start at the age of 20, 25,
Wow.
all the way up to 60.
And it's
or
preventative.
65, and it's preventative.
Wow. Okay,
So
great.
it helps the fine lines and wrinkles.
Well, good. Well, what do you think about my face? Am I looking okay for
I
my
think
age?
you look great. I actually do.
Good answer. We will
I
have her
do.
back. We will have her back. No, thank you so much for coming on
Thank you
today.
so
Where
much
can
for
people
having
find
us.
out more about the medical spa?
We have two different websites. You can go on maeplasticsurgery.com
Okay.
or Transcend Med Spa.
Okay, great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Lainey.
you for having me.
Okay, guys, we have talked about the emotions and your look as we go into spring, but we are actually going to talk about that clutter in your home. We'll be right back.
This portion of Weekends with Whitney is brought to you by Advanced Foot and Ankles Heel Pain Centers. Did you know that heel pain is one of the most prevalent healthcare issues in America? Get those feet back on the ground for spring at one of the 250 Heel Pain Center locations in Chicago. Visit heelpaincenters.org to book your free initial consultation.
Hello and welcome back to Weekends with Whitney's edition of Spring Cleaning. We're talking about all sorts of ways that you can spring clean, from your emotions to your skin. But now we're going to talk about what most of you are probably thinking of right off the bat, which is getting rid of that clutter and junk. And who better to help us than 1-800-GOT-JUNK?
Absolutely.
Gail Schick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so most of us have seen the trucks. We've
Yes.
seen it if we're watching Hoarders on A&E. We might have seen where you guys intervene and help out a situation.
Right.
Tell us about 1-800-GOT-JUNK. You go in and just clean it out?
Well, 1-800-GOT-JUNK is a full-service junk removal company. And what we do is we go in homes and businesses and remove unwanted items.
And sometimes what one man's junk is another man's treasure.
Well, that's so true.
And so what do you do when you remove it?
When we remove it, we donate.
Oh.
Donate, and we
Donate,
recycle.
donate. Oh,
yes.
I love that.
Yes, we're we want to be a very green company. We focus a lot on recycling. So we donate to local charities, we recycle metal, we recycle clothing, we recycle textbooks, paper, you name it.
So there's a lot of stuff going on. So what is your most interesting experience with going in and removing? Is there also, I know on Hoarders, I can think of a million episodes that are running through my head right now.
And we've done 6 of those.
You
Actually,
have?
our franchise has
Yeah.
done 6 of them.
So-
Yes, very interesting.
That is so would you say one of those episodes would be one that sticks out to you as one of your most interesting situations to go in and help clean out?
Well, actually, it wasn't a Hoarders episode, but it wasn't on TV. But it was a woman that we helped locally out here in Orland Park. actually. And she shouldn't have been living alone, but she was living alone. And she compulsively purchased things on QVC. She just hoarded so much.
Wait a second. Are we talking about one of my family members? No, I'm just kidding. That is so funny because I feel like a lot of us, as I know for me, like every year I gain more stuff. Like as I move from place to place, which hopefully I quit moving so often, but when I move to place, I'm like, how did I get so much more stuff?
And
why do I need another storage bin?
And see, that's the beauty of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Our service, people feel overwhelmed when they have too much stuff and they don't know where to start. Right. And I say, start on a small scale. Start in the room that is one of the most used rooms. Why not organize that? So just figure out what you want in there to go and then give us a call.
I love
You just give us a call, we send out a truck and 2 workers, they're your labor force, and you don't lift a finger.
That is so nice.
We come out there, we do all the loading and lifting, we'll take all the unwanted items, we load them in the truck, we sweep clean the area, and then we take those items and then we donate them or recycle them or do all these good things so that we're not just dumping them in a landfill somewhere.
And I can hear the passion behind this mission for
Love
you
it.
guys. That's one of the things that's shining through. And I feel like for our viewers at home that would make a phone call, one of the things is they don't want to be wasteful because they might, have a closet that they need to clean out and they don't know where to start, but maybe they pull it out and then to know that it's going to be recycled is always peace of mind. I know for me personally, I'm that way.
And that's the most common question we hear from people. What do you do with my stuff? What do you do with the stuff? And this is what we tell them that we do. We recycle so much and donate so much.
Wow, now you are a local franchise here. Tell us about your franchise. 1-800-GOT-JUNK is national?
It is.
Okay.
We service the U.S., Canada, and there are a few franchises in Australia.
Ooh, international.
We are, our franchise here in Chicago, we service 134 zip codes, just our franchise. There are 4 franchises in the Chicago area, so pretty much all of Chicago is serviced.
And you have been on the A&E Hoarders.
We have.
How was that experience working with them? Was that wild?
Oh, it was interesting. I mean, I think just seeing the situations the people put themselves in, you have empathy for the people, but the whole thing about a service is that you're helping people.
Absolutely.
And it's just such a feel-good feeling to know that these people are overwhelmed and you're in there to help them. And we do help them.
And that is an easy way. Every year, guys, spring is right around the corner. It's right here. It's time to, instead of letting it pile up over years, do this yearly. Clean out the rooms, get your house in good shape. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Even if you start in one room, just give us a call.
Spring cleaning, done the easy way. I love it.
You bet.
Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, coming up next, we are going to talk about ways to make your yard scream spring. You heard me right. We'll be right back.
This portion of Weekends with Whitney is brought to you by Dr. Scott Frank and North Shore Oral Maxillofacial's new Refresh Smile procedure. Having a complete set of healthy teeth isn't just for looks. Our smile has a job. Before you look into dentures or piece-by-piece dental repairs, visit refreshsmile.com to learn how one day can change your smile and your life.
Welcome back. Well, we are to our last segment of spring cleaning here on Weekends with Whitney. I'm joined by Jim Gorsline. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we have talked almost everything outside of the box when it comes to spring cleaning, from your face, emotions, to the traditional spring cleaning, getting the junk out. But now we're going to talk about sprucing up that yard.
Woohoo,
Here we had the snow, the ice, the dark weather, and it's time for spring. We're going to see things bloom, just like our flowers are here today. And that's what you guys specialize in, cleaning up landscapes.
Definitely.
Tell us a little bit about your company.
We are a design, build, and maintenance company. We primarily work in the Chicago area, working on some incredible landscapes and take care of people's properties. We install, we maintain, and this is the time of year that's the most exciting because everything's coming up new. So
that makes me so happy. And as we were talking about our emotions earlier, get rid of the old stuff, in with the new. And I think just having a fresh yard, nice curb appeal, will just make anyone happy as they're going into their home.
Right.
And I love what you mentioned to me on the commercial break. And you asked me about my place. And I
Right.
said, well, I don't really have a yard, but I do have a little fire escape. And you're like, that can even have some sprucing.
Of course.
So there's hope for everyone out there
There
that's
is
watching.
hope for everyone. Apartments, even small spaces, large spaces, it really doesn't matter. Spring is spring, and everyone's waiting for something cool to happen as far as new growth and plants budding out.
What
and-
are some of the trends we're going to see this spring?
Well, we're going to see.
Or color-wise?
We're going to just see a tremendous amount of color. There always is. There's always. That's one of the most exciting parts of spring is seeing bulbs come up out of the ground and
yeah.
those flowering the plants coming in and the trees and everything coming into bloom. So we're going to see. We'll just see a lot of the same things, but it's all new again. So. Even if it's the same thing as what was done last year, it's all new and it starts over and we have a whole new season ahead of us.
I love that. So maybe this is a question and people are going to be like, she really does not have a green thumb. But if people planted something last year, is it going to come back up? Or in Chicago, does the ice kill?
Well, it depends what it is.
Okay.
There are perennials, which are going to come back every year.
Oh, that's the flower. Economical.
And there's annuals, which are planted once a year, and then those are planted every year in similar areas, in containers or in the beds, in the gardens. And
I know I was shocked one year when I was living in Waco, going to school at Baylor. I had a plant, and I just said, sayonara, sister, because it had died, and I threw it in a trash can that never left the curb. And the last year I was at Baylor, that trash can was blooming to the nines. I mean,
And here it comes, right?
I mean, that's what I was like, well, by gum,
Right.
if that was not just a pleasant surprise.
Right.
And so I loved seeing that happen. And so I could only imagine if people didn't know
Right.
that they were going to have a rebloom.
Right, and here's our area of Chicago. Here we have all the seasons, which is all of
Strong seasons.
And we're coming off of the dirty season, the snow, and it's the griminess, and now it's time to clean everything up, and getting that landscape ready to go for the season, opening up those garden beds so that the plants have room to breathe and
What
to grow.
about the
and-
rooftops? Are
and
you doing a lot
rooftops.
of rooftops?
Oh yeah,
I could
we
see
do.
that. A lot of people in the city, that's the trend.
Right.
But you work out in the suburbs as well, and a lot of people need that curb appeal.
Right.
The yard might even have disintegrated during the winter. Do you have to replant a lot of yards?
Well, sure. I mean, the lawns often they need
Lawns,
to be
that's what I was looking
they
for,
need
the
to be
yards.
they need to be spruced up. They need to be overseeded and sometimes new sod put in. And one of the things that makes a landscape really pop in the spring is when the bed lines, the curves and the amazing plant material and bed lines within bed lines where there's ground covers and perennials and layers and shrubs that are in bloom and it's all happening at the same time. And we come in and we make sure that those plants are in good health and that we're making sure that everything looks good. So it's beyond the aesthetics. We have the health, which then carries through the whole season. So
Wow. Now, I know in the city, I have a dog, and you have to pick up after your dog. But in the suburbs, I feel like people sometimes embrace because it fertilizes the lawn. When you get to a yard that has animals, plenty of animals, what do you do?
Well, that's an interesting challenge because actually the concentration of the animal droppings can cause some problems with lawns specifically, and you will get dead spots. So
Ooh, so it's important to keep those little dog bags.
it's important to
Suburbs
keep
or
them
the city.
clean, right.
Yeah, keep it clean. I
Right.
love that. So clean up the yard, spring cleaning, every which way. Where can people find out more about you?
well, they can visit our website at scottbyron.com and find out all about us.
One thing that a lot of my viewers don't know is that I was the yard girl growing up. I did all of the mowing. So I might just join your team one day and come out and mow some lawns.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, well,
Great.
thank you so much for coming
Okay.
on the show today. Guys, for more about our guests, go to weekendswithwhitney.com. Also, we want to hear about your spring cleaning stories, so go to our fan page, Weekends with Whitney, right on Facebook. We'll see you right back here next weekend.